You do not want nonprofits to publicly disclose their donors. Whoa. Put down your pitchfork and just hear me out for a minute. You might disagree, and that's totally fine, but you're going to want to hear this, trust me. A recent Wired article by Taylor Lorenz has ignited a heated debate over whether or not nonprofits should publicly disclose their donors. Currently, both 501c3 public charities and 501c4 social welfare organizations are not required by law to disclose who donates to them. And that's not just a legal consideration, it's an ethical one as well. As Timothy J. McLimmon notes, the Code of Ethical Standards for the Association of Fundraising Professionals does not include a duty of nonprofits to disclose the names of their donors. I went through the Forbes Top 100 charities list and found that none of them require individual donors to reveal their identity. What could be the reason for all this secrecy around nonprofit giving? Well, that's because it's not really about secrecy. It's about privacy. Getting back to the AFP's Code of Ethics, Standard 12 states, members shall not disclose privileged or confidential information to unauthorized parties. Why is this important? A big reason might be that some donors simply don't want to be inundated with similar requests from other nonprofit organizations, preferring to stay anonymous and less hassled. Now, I know what you're going to say next. That's all fine and good for 501c3s. They don't engage in political issues. But 501c4s are political, so they should have to disclose who donates to them. Actually, the case to be made for 501c4 donor privacy is even stronger than the case for 501c3 privacy. In 1956, the state of Alabama attempted to shut down the NAACP in their state. They also demanded a list of every donor to the NAACP's 501c4. Not coincidentally, from 1955 to 1957, donations to the NAACP in southern states declined by a whopping 39%. In 1958, the Supreme Court ruled that the government cannot require groups to disclose their membership lists without a compelling state interest that outweighs privacy considerations. Privacy considerations tied to fears of reprisal. Even back in 1958, the Supreme Court recognized that being forced to disclose what nonprofits private citizens contribute to can have a devastating effect on free speech and the right to free association. And social science backs this up. In one survey, it was found that 60% of respondents were hesitant to donate to a political cause if their personal information would be disclosed, citing, among other things, fears of harassment. Another study revealed that citizens were less likely to contribute to a political cause they believed in if their neighbors had contributed to a political cause that opposed it. And this makes perfect sense when you think about it. A woman who supports reproductive choice might be understandably hesitant to donate to Planned Parenthood if she lives in a neighborhood surrounded by radical anti-choice activists. Do you think it would be ethical to publish her name on a list of donors for her neighbors to access? Let's say you strongly believe in climate justice, but the boss of your company is a climate change denier, and he's threatened to rid the company of anyone who supports what he calls global warming nonsense. Workplace discrimination against political viewpoints is not legally protected. You might think twice about donating to the Sierra Club if they were going to publish your name, wouldn't you? That is why I find it staggeringly ironic that the author of this Wired piece, Taylor Lorenz, is all of a sudden pushing an anti-privacy agenda that will subject everyday citizens like you and me to doxing or worse. I thought she was a privacy advocate. I guess I was wrong. Perhaps the depth of her political thought is only as thick as the paper used to cut the paychecks she gets for publishing rage-bait content. So many people say they want to get money out of politics, and I'm very much aligned with that sentiment. But when you think about it, when you really think about it, politics can't be done without money. Organizing grassroots takes a tremendous amount of work and resources. Hundreds of professional organizations exist to advocate for causes you believe in. Social justice issues, environmental conservation, civil rights protection, and privacy protection, just to name a few. Those organizations are political. When they advocate on your behalf, they are doing politics. And they could not exist without the ability of regular citizens like you and me to make donations to them. I don't think what we really want is to get money out of politics. I think what we want is to get corporate and billionaire money out of politics. We want a level playing field. The Citizens United decision was devastating to political discourse in the United States because it allowed powerful moneyed interests to utilize super PACs to spend unlimited amounts of money on political speech that's not in the best interests of everyday people like you and me. And one of the most frustrating aspects of this flood of billionaire money into politics is that we don't always know where it's coming from. But the problem with money in politics is the unlimited corporate and billionaire spending, not the protection of our privacy. I think we should focus our efforts to reform the system on the former, not the latter. Let's not lose our heads and throw the baby out with the bathwater. There are incredibly compelling reasons to want to maintain the privacy of what political causes you support. In today's toxic political climate, you could be subjected to doxing or worse, just because your neighbors or some rando on the internet found out you support a political cause that they hate. And that is why